Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. My name is Dan and today we're going to have a look at what artificial intelligence, the robots, believe to be the best possible FPL team you can have in Game Week 9, I suppose, going forward from Game Week 9. So whether you're on a wild card or you're just interested to see what kind of team robots think you should shift your team towards, I'm about to show you guys. So if you do enjoy this one, please do leave a like. Really does help out the channel. Can we aim for 2,000 likes on this one? That would be amazing. And do subscribe if you haven't done already. But guys, let's get on with it. So I do want to reiterate this this fantasy football hub artificial intelligence team is not a team I've selected. This is entirely created by artificial intelligence and robots to try and work out what the best possible team is. And I should say, guys, if you've watched some of my videos before with using these artificial intelligence tools or streams before, you will know that they often get it really quite right. You look at the teams and you think there's no way that's going to work out, but every time they seem to be getting it right. So I don't know, maybe we're the stupid ones and actually the age of humans is done. But anyway, let's show you this team and you can tell me exactly what you think of it. Anyway, let's start off in goal with Alisson. So he's got some decent fixtures with Brighton and West Ham, and this is taken into account not just this game week but a few game weeks going forward. I think it's up to kind of 5 or 6 game weeks in the future, and it kind of tails off after that of what kind of scores the AI thinks these players are going to get. Obviously, Arsenal and Man City are kind of difficult games, but with a goalkeeper, you're expecting some save points as well. So, yeah, I think it's a fairly decent goalkeeper. Obviously, Alisson has dropped down in price a little bit, but it's kind of unexpected to see Alisson in there rather than Pope or something like that. But AI believes that Liverpool's defence is going to improve, and that's proven by the fact that Trent Alexander-Arnold is also in this team. And now this shout, I don't really mind so much, particularly if you're on a wild card or something, or if you already own Trent in your FPL team. I probably wouldn't sell him at this point, and I would consider getting him in on a wild card. Probably wouldn't use my transfers on him, but this Brighton game, Brighton under new management, obviously, could be a pretty decent fixture for Liverpool, to be fair, and an opportunity after the international break to come back and try and get those clean sheets rolling a little bit. I genuinely think Trent is not a bad shout, and the AI certainly thinks there's some points up for grabs here. 5.5 predicted points for Trent Alexander-Arnold in this game week, and interestingly, if you go forward a few game weeks, Trent is predicted to get 6.1 points against West Ham in game week 12, I believe that is. So that's pretty decent. Next up, we've got Rhys James. Rhys James, I think, is one that we probably most of us agree with. Do we agree with this one? Let me know. But obviously, Rhys James is looking like a good pick at the moment. Chelsea have got some very good fixtures, especially from a defensive point of view. You look at some of these fixtures: Crystal Palace, Wolves, Villa, even Brentford. To be fair, there could all be opportunities for clean sheets and potentially attacking returns in some of them as well. Particularly that Wolves game, 5.9 predicted points for Rhys James in that Wolves game. And then we're going to finish off the defence with a player that you won't expect. And there's all the artificial intelligence teams always throw in these players that you just don't see coming. They come out of left field completely, and you just think, what the hell? And then often it ends up actually working out. But let me show you. It's Joe Gomez. I know. Look, I don't make the rules here. I don't make the rules. This is Fantasy Football Hub. And by the way, guys, if you want to go check out this tool for yourself and you get your team rated by the artificial intelligence, because this is a 100% rated team, do go check out the link in the description to go and have a look to see how your team kind of stacks up there, and have a play around with this team or have a play around with your own team to see if you can get the highest predicted points possible, I suppose. But yeah, Joe Gomez is in there. It's an interesting one. One thing that I have found that the artificial intelligence tool, artificial intelligence in general, isn't always the best at predicting things on a human-based factor, such as rotation, when a player is going to play, when a player isn't going to play due to things like age or other things like that. It uses algorithms to predict based on past results, past things that have happened, I guess, underlying stats, all that kind of stuff. It's quite complicated, a bit too brainy for me. But Joe Gomez, I think, is probably an interesting one. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's 4.5 million, so I think that's why he's gone in. A Liverpool defender for 4.5 million, and the AI thinks he's going to start probably most games. That's pretty, it's good value. You can't really deny that that's good value, but it's just a case of whether Matip, Konate is going to come back in soon as well, are actually going to take the place of Gomez. But you never know, maybe Gomez plays at right back, maybe plays at left back. Who knows? Who knows? Stranger things have happened in football. Let's move on into midfield. We've got Heung-min Son. You can kind of understand this one, and interestingly, Son last game week in game week 8, a lot of us weren't really thinking too much about Son. I know some of you guys were definitely thinking about Son, but I would say most people weren't thinking about Son too much. And obviously, he came off the bench and got a hat-trick. The AI actually had Son down to be the highest scoring player of the game week last game week. And guess who was the highest scoring player of the game week? It was Son. So this is what I'm saying. Sometimes the AI gets things right that you just do not see coming at all. And it's putting Son in again for this game week. And you can see there's a couple of decent scores in here, to be fair. You know, Everton, 8.2 predicted points in a couple of game weeks' time. So maybe Son worth going for now if you're on a wild card. If you're not on a wild card, maybe your likes of your Kanes and your Sons and your Perisic's, maybe Spurs players in general, maybe they can wait one more game week. But if you're on a wild card, Son... maybe he's one of the players to buy in the wildcard. I don't know. We've got Foden up next. Decent Manchester City attacker. I think it's difficult to pick Man City attackers outside of Haaland, isn't it? But Foden is often favoured by the AI, and you can see why. He's done quite well so far this season. We've got that Southampton game in game week 10 there, which is a decent amount of expected points there, 7.1. A blank, of course, in game week 12, which is taken into account as well. So... yeah, this is not like a set and forget team. You probably would have to make transfers if you wanted to get the most out of this team. We've got Maddison up next. I think that is another player that I think probably most of us are going to agree with. You know, Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth back-to-back fixtures up next. It's obviously some real opportunities for some points there. We saw how well Maddison did in game week 8, didn't we? Really, he looked so good against Spurs. Was unlucky to just get the 7-pointer, to be fair. So yeah, we're probably thinking that he's going to get a decent amount of points in the next 2 game weeks. So you can see why he's in there. Got that Leeds fixture as well. I tell you what, Leicester players are just looking good in general, particularly if you've got some Leicester attackers that perform, as long as they perform. So the AI strongly believes this because they've also got Harvey Barnes in here. So Harvey Barnes actually predicted to get slightly more points than Maddison, interestingly, which we kind of have seen Barnes go through some spells where he is outscoring Maddison, to be fair. He's a little bit cheaper than Maddison as well, so could be a nice little bargain to go for. Same fixtures, but the double up in Leicester attack, that's what the AI wants. So, like, the AI is very much all or nothing. We've got Haaland up front. No surprise there. Don't need to talk about that too much. What I will talk about, though, is that 10.5 predicted points against Southampton. That's a decent score. And to be fair, the amount of hat-tricks that he's got already. You wouldn't be surprised if we saw another one. Man City at home against Southampton. Surely they're going to dominate, loads of points on offer. And guess what, guys? I know I said we were doubled up on Leicester. We're not. We're tripled up. We're tripled up, apparently. We're tripled up on Leicester. Jamie Vardy is here as well. Same great fixtures. Vardy is predicted very highly by the AI. It's definitely going to be a case of game time. You'd say that if Vardy gets the game time, he probably will score really well over the next couple of games, especially if you look at historical data from Vardy and how well he's done at any time where he's actually got game time. Any time he plays, he's just absolutely insane. He is fit right now. He's just not really getting minutes at the moment, is he? So we've kind of seen more from Patson Daka, for example. So that's the kind of the risk there, I guess. But I tell you what, it is one of those picks that if it pays off, it could go nuclear. But the chances of it paying off are... it's just so risky, isn't it? And finally, Mitrovic. No surprise. Underlying stats, phenomenal for Mitrovic. Fixtures are fairly decent. We obviously got that Bournemouth game in a couple of game weeks' time, so that's pretty decent. And just fixtures in general look pretty good, and the player's in great form, other than the last, week or so. Yeah, how he didn't score with those 3 goals the other week, I'll have no idea. No Mitrovic returns. We move. Let's go on to the bench, guys. We've got Dennis, who's expected to get points. He's a 4 million goalkeeper for Bournemouth. I don't know why he's expected to get points. There must be something I'm missing here. We've got Patterson there. Obviously, very good pick, but it should be noted that Patterson did get stretchered. Well, he walked, and then he got stretchered from the sidelines during international duty. So just keep an eye on Patterson and his availability and his fitness over the international break. There's no guarantee that he's going to be available come game week 9. So just keep an eye on Patterson. Nico Williams here, no surprise there really. And Colback, who is 4.3 million, so a really good way of saving some money. Especially if you've got Patterson and a Nico Williams, you're probably not going to use Colback very often. And you know what? Patterson and Nico Williams, I do think they cover Gomez a little bit as well. So anyway, that's the team. It's got a 100% rating by the Fantasy Football Hub algorithm. Like I say, if you want to go verify that for yourself, do check out the link in the description to have a look for yourself. Thank you very much to Fantasy Football Hub for letting me use these tools and show you these artificial intelligence things, because they're very interesting to me, at least. The team value is a little bit high on this one. I'd like to try and get it down if possible. So what we're going to do now, guys, is I'm going to make technically three changes to this team just to try and compensate for rotation, because I feel like that the AI teams, they go very heavily in. So they think, okay, Liverpool have got a couple of clean sheets in them. Let's get all the Liverpool defenders. Leicester are going to get a couple of goals. Let's go all in on the Leicester attackers. You know, let's go all in on the Man City attackers. We think they're going to get goals. So I love it. It's very much an all or nothing thing that the algorithm goes for, that the robots go for. They've got a really aggressive style of FPL that seems to have worked so far this season. But like I say, it's not amazing at predicting when players are going to play or not. For example, Gomez, I think he's going to be rotated with Matip now. Vardy, I think he's going to be rotated with Daka. So I think if we remove those two players, if we can get the team value down to 100 million, just to make this team a little bit more accessible, using using algorithm players, I can make 3 changes. We can keep the 100% rating using other highly rated players by the algorithm, like that are expected to get a lot of points. We can keep the 100% rating and get the value down and pick players that are a little bit more nailed on. Let's do that. And here it is, guys. Just 2 changes on the starting 11. So I've taken out Gomez and I've put in Justin. Justin is kind of the second best, really, a 4.5 or less defender that we can go for. He's expected to get a decent amount of points. You can see 4.6 predicted points against Nottingham Forest, 3.6 against Bournemouth. We've seen Justin already get 2 assists this season, which is pretty decent. We just need some clean sheets to be added to that. You would say that if Leicester are going to start keeping clean sheets, then it's got to be in this run of fixtures, really. I'm not saying they will keep clean sheets, don't get me wrong, but if they are going to, then maybe this is the run for them to do it. So Justin, 4.3 million, by the way, guys, could actually genuinely be an okay pick, particularly if he's showing his creativity that he has been doing recently. I've also changed out Vardy for Isak at Newcastle. One thing to note is, again, Isak has withdrawn from international duty. He did have kind of a little bit of a niggle for Sweden. We're not sure the extent of the injury yet, but like I say, just one to keep an eye on. I don't want to make a guarantee that Isak will be available for Game Week 9, but I feel like if he is available, then he's one to go for. Again, the algorithm is rating Isak very, very highly in terms of players expected to produce points over the coming game weeks. You can see in this next Fulham game, for example, 4.8 predicted points in that one. Everton game, 5.3 predicted points. And I've made one more change just on the bench. We've downgraded a 4 million goalkeeper down to a 3.9 million goalkeeper in Turner, who plays for Arsenal. Or just you can go for any 3.9 goalkeeper in that slot, really. I just think, may as well, if you've got an Alisson in goal, you're never going to bench him. You're not going to bench Alisson even against an Arsenal or a Man City, are you? He's a very good goalkeeper, assuming that Liverpool can get back to some defensive form. So I think we've kept the 100% team rating by picking other highly rated players by the computers. The robots rate these players that are brought in very highly still. We've got the team value to 100 million, which is the standard team value, right? And I think this looks a little bit better. So we're going to overview just a couple of bits over the next couple of game weeks. But I just want to quickly slap a captain's armband and vice captain on. We may as well. So yeah, we're going to put the captain's armband on Haaland. You can see on screen he's got the highest predicted points for game week 9 at 7.9, with the vice captain on the second highest points, which is Phil Foden, 5.7 predicted points there. If you want to go for a different fixture, Trent is also on 5.5 predicted points for game week 9 as well. But with that said, let's just have a quick overview on using this exact team here of what kind of things you can expect for the following game weeks. Okay, so for game week 9, this team has a game week rating of 95%, so that's super, super high. That really is high. Like, to get individual game weeks anywhere above 85, 90% is just insane if you can get your team predicted that high. Let me know if you've got many 90 plus game week ratings on your own FPL, Fantasy Football Hub tab, my team tool things. But yeah, 66.1 predicted points. That's extremely high. The best player of the game week is set to be Haaland, 7.9 predicted points. For game week 10, we're at an 89% rating, so again, very, very high, 70.2 predicted points. Again, Haaland has got the highest predicted points. You're noticing a trend here, guys. 10.5 predicted points there from Haaland. So yeah, no surprise that Haaland is going to be the best captaincy option for the next 2 game weeks, according to computers. But what about game week 11? Obviously, Man City play Liverpool. Do things change a little bit? Yes, they do. So this team actually dips a little bit in game week 11 in terms of expected points, predicted points, should I say. 57.3 and a game week rating of 81%. So this could be a game week where you change things around. To be fair, it's a difficult game week because if you want Liverpool players and you want Man City players, they have to face each other at some point, and game week 11 is the game week where they face each other. So that is going to be kind of difficult for a lot of people, especially if you're heavily invested in either of those teams. You can't just ignore Liverpool or Man City players just because they play each other, and you never know, it could be a goal fest and you get loads of points anyway, but we don't know. Heung-min Son has the highest predicted points of any player in game week 11 with 8.2. So if you're thinking about the future, maybe a Son, maybe even a Kane if you've got him, could be the guys to go for in game week 11 potentially. I think it's a fairly decent fixture, so why not? And finally, let's move on to game week 12, and that has got 82% rating for this team, 58.1 predicted points. So again, not particularly high, but that is because that is the game week where Man City blank, Arsenal blank as well, although this AI team doesn't have any Arsenal players, which is just mud for Arsenal fans, such as myself, I suppose. But we've got actually Mo Salah has got the highest predicted points, who isn't in the AI team, but I just thought I'd show you, out of all of the players in FPL right now, who has got the highest predicted points for game week 12, and it's Salah with 7.7 points. I believe he plays West Ham in that game week. So game week 12, particularly with those Man City players not having a fixture in that game week, the Arsenal players not having a fixture, could this be the week to jump in on Liverpool players? I'm already eyeing up like a Cancelo to Trent Alexander-Arnold move in game week 12, and Liverpool fixtures look really good after that as well. We won't go further than game week 12 here, but you know, Salah is predicted to be the highest scoring player for a decent amount of time, you know, for a decent couple of game weeks after game week 12. But let's see if reality lives up to the computer's prediction, I suppose. And there you go, guys. That is the team. I think it's pretty decent, but I am interested to hear what you guys think. Would you be bold enough to go for a strategy where you go for so many defenders from the same team, so many attackers from the same team? Listen, you guys have seen it already. I've posted about it on social media. I've talked about it on streams. The AI keeps getting it right. And we keep looking at these teams and thinking, there's no way that's going to work out. And then we actually look back on it and think, oh, wow, okay, yeah, the computers are smarter than us. So let me know, guys, what do you think? Are you smarter than a computer? I don't know if I am. I kind of like this team, though. If you haven't done already, guys, please do like the video. Please do subscribe if you're new around here as well. And like I say, do go check out this tool because it is actually really fun to play around to see what your own personal team is rated. Whether you're on a wild card, you want to get that wild card rated by the AI, by the algorithm, by the robots, and see if they think your team is as good as you think it is. Do click the link at the top of the description. Honestly, it's definitely worth having a go. I'm using it pretty much all the time, every week. Definitely at least once a week I'm using this tool just to have a little look at my team. Often I'm using it a bit more than that, but we move. Yeah, we've got a few more videos this weekend that I hope you're going to enjoy, and then back to normal content next week before the game week 9 deadline. But there we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.